I just wonder what it's like with the compressed schedule over the summer. Maybe you have to go at things in a little bit of a different way. What was your approach to managing the timeline, and how would you compare how you feel sitting here compared to the start of last year?
Yeah, I feel great. It's actually kind of nice having the short summer just because I'm just so excited to get back into a game because it doesn't feel too long ago since I have played. So it feels really good. Feel conditioned and strong and game ready. So excited to get going here. It was an interesting summer. You got to get a lot of things in a short period of time, where normally you have a little bit more time, to see friends, see family, be a dad, and all that fun stuff. So learned a couple lessons and kind of how to manage that time. So if we're lucky enough to do that again this year, then have a better understanding of how to go about it. If
you're willing to share, when you evaluate the entirety of last season on your sort of Stu Skinner's to-do list, things you're working on, what would be a couple things near the top of that list?
Like working on for this upcoming year?
Yeah, like what's on your list to work on and improve this year?
Yeah, I think with the experience that I was able to get last year, I think obviously coming out with a hot start, you want to obviously start a little bit better than we did last year. So for me, it's just the preparation to do so. Actual things that I've worked on is mainly skating. I've been working a lot on that. Besides that, it's been pretty similar stuff. Just a couple bag skates here and there for conditioning, a couple structured things just to feel good and the way that you move, and then a lot of it was just skating. So the game's so fast now. There's a lot of east-west plays, so worked a lot on that. So I don't know. It's not really nothing crazy.
Hey, Stu. Hope you had a good summer.
Hey.
Last year was such a great season with such a disappointing end. And, every time you talk to someone, I just want to ask you, how long did it take to kind of get over that end? And how important is it to kind of put it behind you guys and focus on this year and not let that kind of linger?
Yeah.
Because this year is this year, and everyone we talked to is about you're not trying to win last year's cup, you were trying to win this year's cup. How important is that to focus going forward?
Yeah, it's very important. I think, I think you kind of answered your own question, to be honest. I think you're exactly right. You can't really look back at last year and just expect that to happen again this year. Obviously, we have expectations of how we want to perform, but, that was last year. This year is a completely different year. We have a different team. Every team in the NHL is a different team, so it's going to be a completely different year. So obviously, we want to do a little bit better than we did last year, but it is a new year, and we gotta look forward to that and prepare for this upcoming season. It's going to be really tough, and you got to go through that whole process again, leading up to the finals, leading up to playoffs, and it's a long year. So there's going to be lots of ups and downs, and the way that we handle that is going to be key for us. It's. I'm so excited to get started here.
And I want to ask you about your relationship with Calvin Pickard. Now it's going to be you two at the start of the season. You guys are going to go through training camp together as opposed to the way it was last year. What's that going to be like, and I guess how much has he helped you, going forward?
He's helped me so much. Even just the past week, he came out a week early, and we had a good golf session, and he hit the first hole, hit a birdie, and then it just dropped off from there. So he taught me a lot about resiliency on the golf course. Besides that, like even just this past week going on the ice with him, a couple goalie sessions, just the way that we've been able to talk and have some good conversations with him and Schwartzy, just about the way that how we're starting out already is has been amazing. He's such an incredible guy. Like every person that you talk to, if you ever ask about Calvin, they all have the same answer. He's one of the best teammates you'll ever have, and he's been such a good support system for me. He's a big brother to me. He takes care of me, and the way that we talk, the way that he calls me out at times that are needed. It's exactly what you want out of a partner. So I'm very, very fortunate and very lucky to have him.
Morning, Stuart.
Morning.
You were not starting the opener last season in Vancouver, went on to have 36 victories. Did this offseason feel a little bit different? Like, how do you kind of help yourself manage those expectations being the number one guy here in Edmonton?
Yeah, it did feel a little bit different just in the sense that you really want to just prepare yourself the best to play a solid amount of games. So, being able to get that rest in, being able to get the work in, and kind of balance those things out, which can be a tough thing to balance. But yeah, it feels a little bit different. I'm really excited to get some games in. Hopefully I get a few in the preseason here just to get things ramped up. And yeah, it should be good.
With a heavier workload, does it kind of put this on taking care of the little things throughout the process? Because, of course, you got to maintain your energy levels all throughout, hopefully, April, May, and then June.
Yeah, exactly. I learned a little bit of that last year. Even the year before, I learned a little bit of that. I've had a little bit of experience with just trying to, again, balance those things out. I think big thing is those little details, getting your sleep, eating right, not wasting your energy on the, silly stuff. So I think a lot of it's just going to be, how you take care of your body, take care of your mind. So many things that go into it. And, yeah, I think you're exactly right. It's going to be, again, we start over. We're back at day one, so you kind of learn that process every year, and hopefully I get to learn it really quickly here.
Stu, when you mentioned that you work on your, forwards and defense, I'm assuming it's a little bit different of what you're working on. What is it that the goalie works on specifically in skating in this for you?
Yeah, for me, this off season was just a lot about edge control. Again, the game's so fast now, and there's so many different ways to actually goaltend. So, I think for me, just being able to catch edges consistently on a consistent basis, not when you get into an out of controlled save, being able to kind of save yourself and get back into a controlled situation. And yeah, I think that's kind of the main thing that I was working on is being able to catch edges and being strong on my edge control, being in the post, having a strong edge. To answer your question in a simple way is strictly edges.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Obviously, you guys have never experienced a Game 7 loss in the Stanley Cup Final. Your teammates have talked a lot about how you got a real good mental toughness. How have you approached that loss, and how do you use that as motivation for this?
Yeah, you use that loss, honestly, we got to experience a very tough loss, a loss that we've been thinking about for the whole summer. And just being able to experience that game of going through Game 7 with all that energy, all that noise, and just the whole deal of it. It's pretty amazing. Because now that, if we ever get to experience that again, obviously we're hoping to experience that again this year. And if we do, we already know how it feels, taking a nap before Game 7, you're not going to be, maybe as wound up as you were this past year. So honestly, just being able to go through it is so important because now you know how to deal with it when it comes to you again. And even going through the first round, second round, even just a regular season game, you have a better understanding of how to deal with those types of things when they come, those nerves and the stresses of the game.
3 new defensemen. You lost Desharnais, you lost CC, you lost Broberg. How does that affect a goaltender when you're getting new defensemen in front of you?
How does it affect a goaltender? It depends how you kind of want to ask that question. I think it doesn't really affect me too much in the sense of how I'm going to be playing. Obviously, it's tough losing those guys, but we have some great D coming in. So, that's every single year. You're going to have a different team. Every time the season ends, you can look around the room and realize that you're not going to see everybody in the dressing room again. And that's just kind of how the business is. But it doesn't affect me too much. I got the same job to do. It's pretty simple. Stop the puck or don't.
So when Game 7's over, does the goalie think about Game 7 longer than the players in front of him because you're the goaltender?
I couldn't really answer that question for you. You'd have to ask some players and some goalies for that. For myself, I would like to think that I got over it quickly, but I probably didn't. But that's just the nature of being a human being going through something like that. So, yeah, it's, again, such an incredible lesson learned and such an incredible experience to just go through it. So I'm very, very fortunate.
Heading into a new season, something that fans always look forward to with goalies is a look at new equipment, new masks. Is there going to be any new equipment choices for you this upcoming season?
Any new?
Yeah, any new.
I'd love to answer that question, but it's going to be a surprise for all you guys.